I have a great deal of concern over which loser would replace him, because that's generally who ends up in leadership. I'm not going to name names, not going to put you in an awkward spot. Is there a chance we get a good one?
Rick Scott was willing to, and Rick Scott has an amazing life and resume. He's done a lot of great things, really set Ron DeSantis up for success as governor of Florida. Before Ron DeSantis, built the largest hospital group in the world, rose out of nothing. I mean, I think with single mom, the guy's got an incredible story. And what I've seen him as a senator, I mean, he is just relentless. The Energizer buddy.
Okay. That's quite an endorsement from one of the decent senators out there. We don't have a bunch of those. So joining me now is the man who's getting pumped up by Ron Johnson on the show, Senator Rick Scott of the great state of Florida. Senator, I'm so happy that you're throwing your name in. Are you throwing your name in? Because I see these other senators who want to be in leadership, and they look like part of the problem to me.
Well, first off, I want to thank Ron Johnson for the nice words. He tells me the same thing when I see him. He calls me the Energizer Bunny. But Ron Johnson is a great. Here's what's nice about Ron. You can name him: Ron Johnson, Mike Lee, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Mike Braun, J.D. Vance, Eric Schmidt. I mean, there's guys up here that are willing to stick their necks out for what the hell they believe in. What makes you mad up here is that there's so many people that say, "Oh, I believe it." Oh, we have to take a vote on that? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm appreciative of people that are, fighting for the American public. So here's what I'm doing. I'm seriously considering it. What we're doing now is the next step is actually to do what you do in business. Is you say, what's our strategy? What's our plan? What's our mission? Then it's actually easy to pick who should lead us. So if you say, oh, we're just going to go on with the McConnell plan to always give in to the Democrats and not have a message, then why would you pick me? I mean, you would pick somebody that's like McConnell. So I think the first step is what do we want to accomplish? Do we want to get a secure border? Do we want to balance the budget? Do we want to make sure we don't have a woke military? Then it makes it easy to decide who you should pick.
Well, does the Senate GOP want those things? And I'm not doubting you. I'm not doubting the list of names you rattled off there, which are basically all the good senators we have. But the GOP as a whole in the Senate, is that really a priority for them? Because they can say that during campaign season. It doesn't look like that to the American people.
Well, I think if you look at the votes over the last 3 years, you'd say that's not where the Republicans in the Senate are as a whole. But I'm an optimist. I know when you go home and talk to voters, what do they want? They want a secure border. They don't like the inflation. They don't like wasteful spending. They don't want earmarks. This week, what we're talking about is over 6,000 earmarks. And by the way, you cannot pass this bill out of the House or the Senate, the spending bill this week, without Republican support. So if you go back home and say, I'm excited about 6,000 earmarks, how about paying for an opera someplace or a Thanksgiving Day parade someplace? So it has all that stuff in there. But if you don't believe in those things, I know when I go around the country, people don't believe in those things. I hope my colleagues say we don't believe in those things.
Senator, why don't more of the good ones want to be in leadership? I've seen this for my entire life, as you have as well. It's always the swampy guys who want to be in leadership. Rarely do we get someone like you make a legitimate run at it. What is it about leadership that the good ones shy away from?
Well, I mean, I think probably what's hard about being a leader is that you're expected to try to figure out how to bring people along, and that's what I did in my business life. I brought people along. I ran the largest hospital company and manufacturing companies, and what you have to do is, if you want to have a successful company, you talk to your employees, you talk to your customers, you talk to your vendors, you talk to your shareholders, you talk to your bank, and you bring people down to your vision. And so, but your vision is something that as a group you believe in, not just yours by itself, because you can't get things done by yourself, anything significant. So, I'm optimistic that more people that believe in what Republican voters believe in will run. We'll see. We're going to have sometime this year, whether it's after the election and before, we're going to have a variety of people run. And I hope what happens is the public says, hey, this is what I want. And that calls their senators says, hey, this is what I want. I want somebody that's going to go fight for what I believe in. If we do, then we're going to get better leadership.
Do the ones who have been there a long time, Senator, do they care about what we want? Because it looks like a lot that they do not. I'll just go ahead and call out Mitch McConnell, and this is just one of many I could call out there. Mitch McConnell has been seen on camera many times saying the most important issue right now is Ukraine. Well, whatever you think about Ukraine, that is not the most important issue for the GOP voter. In fact, it's not in most people's top 10. It seems like he doesn't give a crap what I care about.
And that's why he struggled. As you know, as Ron said, I ran against him at the end of the last election cycle. I wasn't successful, unfortunately. Part of it is he rushed the race to the next day, so we didn't have time to build up our support. But you're right. The Mitch McConnell lost sight of where the Republican voter is. And some people up here don't like the Republican voters. I do. I respect them. I'm a representative. This is the way the Constitution was set up. I represent the people of Florida. That's who I represent. And so my job is to talk to them constantly and get feedback. So we should not get a spending bill that's thousands of pages, okay, without giving the public time to give us their comments. So I can hear from them. I represent them, so they ought to have time to give me what they think about it. But what they want to do up here is, before anybody knows what's in it, let's get the vote behind us, so that they can say, well, it's over, so let's don't worry about that. No, I want to listen to what people say. I have 9 offices in Florida. We engage with our voters in my state, and I want to get their feedback, and I'm going to listen to them when I vote.
Speaking of disdain for the voter, I saw this little clip. I'm sure you've seen it by now. MSNBC last night. Here it was.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue.
Yes.
Again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very, very contested area.
Build a wall. What?
Senator, how much disdain do you hear on Capitol Hill for the normal American who has real concerns about illegal immigration, border, from Republicans and Democrats? Because it does seem like at times that they really hate us.
I don't know why people don't want to listen to the voters. I guess people get up here and they think they've gotten way smarter. You don't get smarter, all right? You have the background you have. So you've got to listen. You've got to listen to people, and they're smart. I mean, my mom had 11th grade education. I don't know my natural dad, but eventually my mom remarried to my dad who had 6th grade education. You know what? They had good common sense. I mean, did they make much money? No. But did they survive? Yeah. Did they need government to run their lives? They hated government run their lives. All they wanted was a good economy. They wanted me to get a good education, my brothers and sister, and they wanted to live in a safe place. And they didn't need government telling them how to lead their lives. They would hate it. But what's up here is so many people, the Democrats want to clearly control your life, and there's Republicans that are going along with it. This week is going to be an interesting week. How can people vote for 6,000 earmarks when we're running the inflation we're running? Wages are not safe with inflation, and we have almost $35 trillion worth of debt. I don't know how you can go back home and say, I'm so excited because I spent your money for a whole bunch of wasteful projects all over the country.